It is from Kodak.
It delivers the highest resolution, microfine grain, superior image structure, for ultra-sharp detail. It is called Ektar. Ektar film by Kodak. The genius is in the details.
I really like to shoot low-speed film because I don't like that much grain. So usually what I try to do is I do the reflective light meter on the Sekonic and I point it towards the clouds and it says 250 at f8, and then I point it here and it says 125. So I'm gonna go 125, I think. So everyone knows that my favorite color film to shoot is Portra 160, Q Vince Perry.
So I'd say I finally got to use Portra 160 and 120 in a proper application. Shout out to Bryan because I know Portra 160 is his favorite film.
So you're probably asking yourself why I included an Ektar 100 commercial in this, and it's mostly due to the fact that I could not find a Portra 160 commercial, and I needed something to draw you in to watch this video. So I metered and it said 1/1000th, but I'm gonna bump it down to 500 just because they're backlit a little bit. Now these films are gonna be extremely comparable in grain size, and Ektar 100 is only not even a full stop below Portra 160 in terms of speed, so they're gonna give you quite comparable results in that department. The main difference that you're gonna get with the two is Ektar 100 is incredibly saturated, and Portra 160 gives you more of a neutral color palette. Over my time using both, I've shot portraits with Ektar and I've shot landscapes with Portra 160, and for me, Portra 160 just gives me the best colors right off the bat where I don't have to mess around with them a lot. I found myself desaturating Ektar 100 quite a bit because the colors are sometimes a little too strong, mostly with the red, and you can see that red around the face, and the blue, which you can really see in the shadows. Well, stay still. Think about Hank. The two photographers that I wanted to mention in this was Zeleny. He shoots all Ektar 100 with the Pentax 6.7, and he shoots a ton of portraits, and you can see that his work is amazing. So it's more about finding the film that works for your process the most, and one that you are confident using in all different types of lighting scenarios. And he definitely found that because he uses it for anything from portraits to landscapes to anything in between. And once you use a film that much, you just get used to it and you know exactly how to use it in every type of situation. The other photographer that I wanted to mention was Bryan, and he primarily uses Portra 400, and Portra 400 and Portra 160 are going to be kind of different, but this is more primarily with the colors and characteristics of the film, and you can see that his work is amazing as well. Portraits, landscapes, everything that he does color-wise is amazing, and you can just kind of see that it just takes a lot of experience and time with the film to really know the ins and outs of it, and that's the way that you get the best results. If you are scanning and developing these at home, the differences between the film are going to be even more minimal, because when you go to scan the Ektar, you can change the colors to your liking. If you are sending this film out to a lab, you're going to get the colors that they give you and what they think the film should look like. So if you take some portraits on Ektar and send it out to a lab, you might get those back, and you might see that they're a little on the red side because maybe that they didn't process it and scan it the way that you hope they would. So if you do take a portrait and you send it into a lab, you're more likely to get the best results if you use something like Portra 160. The other thing that Ektar shines in, if you like that, is it's very high contrast. And a lot of this is going to have to do with the lighting conditions that you put in as well. Pretty much every characteristic of film is going to go back to the light that you put it in. I've shot Portra 160 in New Orleans on a bright sunny day, and I shot things that the light was pointing directly at, and it came out extremely saturated and extremely high contrast because of the scene that it was in. But straight out of the box, you're going to notice a big difference in contrast. You're going to get lower contrast with Portra 160 and higher contrast with Ektar 100. Both of these films have insane latitude. Kyle McDougall actually did a video demonstrating the latitude of Ektar 100, and he went up to 5 stops overexposed and 2 stops underexposed, and it looked pretty good in both scenarios. I did a test where I overexposed Portra 160 by 9 stops, and I edited it just a little bit, and it still was actually usable, which is insane. So both of these films are going to be extremely great latitude-wise. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little comparison video between Ektar 100 and Portra 160. They're both great in their own right, but you just have to be consistent and figure out what works best for you. And the only way to do that is to shoot more film. So get out and do it. If you have any questions about anything, message me on here, message me on Instagram. I always reply. I appreciate all the support that you guys give me. I'm hoping to get some Analog Artisans episodes out for you guys because that's what makes me happy creatively, and I love doing these videos as well as I love educating as I learn, and you guys can learn from my mistakes and you can learn from my triumphs as well. So I look forward to the next one, and I'll see you then.